Welcome to Revealing the Narc. Join me as I highlight narcissistic traits in celebrities and public figures. Everything here is in my opinion and not professional advice. If you enjoy the analysis, please like and subscribe. In a recent live stream, we analyzed an excerpt from Tom Bower's book Revenge about Meghan's involvement during Christmas 2017. At this point, she wasn't part of the royal family yet. She was engaged to Prince Harry. The royal family broke tradition and invited her to spend the holidays with them. During this conversation, I read the excerpt, we analyzed it, and I had some pre-prepared questions to ask the audience. So please enjoy the following clip, and I'd love to hear your answers too, so drop them in the comments. Thanks for listening and enjoy. So this is Tom Bower's Revenge, page 183. Mindful that Meghan appealed both to youth and the diverse communities, the Queen wanted to accelerate Meghan's membership of the royal family before the marriage. In a break from tradition to please Harry and under pressure from Charles, Meghan was invited to the Christmas lunch for Buckingham Palace's staff, to the royal household party at Windsor Castle, and to spend Christmas with 30 family members at Sandringham. Harry and Meghan would stay with Catherine and William at Anmore Hall on the Sandringham estate. At every event, Meghan behaved and dressed impeccably. So, yes, Melissa, that's the one. It's the year of the poo emoji hat. So I'm going to get into, so there's a couple of things that like in this paragraph just don't sound right. Like I was reading that and I expected a lot more drama, a lot more behind the scenes, and people are not acting the way that I think that they would. So let's get into my first question I want to ask all of you. Do you think Meghan's participation in Christmas 2017 set the tone for her relationship with the royal family? So at this point, Harry and Meghan were engaged only, and at this point, no fiancé had ever spent Christmas with the royal family. It was like Catherine didn't go to Sandringham until she was William's wife. Okay, Pamela says, I'm not convinced the late queen was eager to include early on. Yes, and the paragraph says that, right? Because it says she was eager to please Charles and Harry. So I think it kind of implies that too. Okay, lots of yeses. Okay, the scarf incident, if I'm not mistaken, was the 2018 Christmas. And you know what's kind of crazy? That Meghan only spent 2 Christmases at Sandringham, 2017 and 2018. Yeah, Lisa, I don't know either. And let me read that part one more time, that one sentence. So it says, mindful that Meghan appealed both to youth and diverse communities, the Queen wanted to accelerate Meghan's membership of the royal family before the marriage, in a break from tradition to please Harry and under pressure from Charles. So it sounds like there were 2 big people that motivated her to make this decision, and it's Harry and Charles. No ring, no bring. I love that squeegee. Oh, that's so funny. So Aussie woman says, think it was Megsy's force towards King Charles. Okay, so Pamela says, because she pushed brazenly to be included early. Pamela, what part do you not think is true? Susan says, why would Charles pressure? That's weird. And that is one of my questions. Lisa says, even so, she shouldn't have been given extra than others and go against protocol. If I'm not mistaken, though, I think after that, Princess Eugenie's husband also went as a fiancé. So I think Meghan was the first, but I think they've started now letting it happen more. I'm not sure. Please let me know if anyone knows differently. Pamela says, I think Meghan pushed Charles and Harry, who then pushed the Queen. And that's kind of what I'm getting at. That's kind of what I think also. Uh-oh, Susan. Uh-oh. Unless Charles was being blackmailed. And in my opinion, and allegedly, I think Meghan has a very good history of documenting things. Pamela says, I don't think it was the Queen's idea. I don't think she thought was such an asset. Hi, Silver Moon. Pancho says they went above and beyond for her and shouldn't have. Yeah. Okay, so they should change it back and be more strict, Lisa says. Okay, I'm going to go to the next question I have for all of you. So the next question is, and this is what we were saying, why do you think King Charles advocated for Meghan's presence? It's so odd to me. Like, it just came to me that, I mean, King Charles did that a lot for Camilla also, right? Or Queen Camilla also would advocate for her to be present. So I wonder what it is about Meghan that really motivated Charles to do that. Is Charles doing that? Like, could it be because he was trying to strengthen his relationship with Harry? Could it be that Meghan, you know, as a narcissist, allegedly was incredibly charming? Could it be that she, as a master manipulator, allegedly, and in my opinion, was able somehow to encourage her presence? Susan says, everyone said for ages that Charles is blackmailed. Hi, Silver Moon. Aussie Woman says, definitely fishy. The late Queen wouldn't do that, I don't think. Yeah. Susan says, read for ages that Charles... Okay, I just read that. Only Me says, who says he did? Meghan People magazine. Oh, Only Me. I don't know if you were here earlier, but I read an excerpt from Tom Bower's Revenge. And that's where it was from. Marcia says, Neil Shaw spoke about this Christmas with the Megton. Oh, really? Oh, really? I'll have to watch that. Hi, Sandra. Can you see us now? Pamela says, I think she charmed him initially. He probably believed was sincere at first. That's kind of what I think too. Narcissists are very good at that, right? They come off, and that's another part of this paragraph. Pamela says, I think Charles caught on just after he convinced the late Queen to include Sexy B says, I think he was just trying to stop Harry from whining. Hi, Just Jen. It looks like you got here at a good time because there have been some technical issues. Squeegee says she hasn't had any issues. Squeegee, I'm assuming you're a woman. I don't know why I said she, so I hope I didn't misgender you. Okay, good. I'm back. Okay, Lisa says, if he did advocate for her presence, it's been well documented. Charles hates confrontation of any kind, so I assume he was just getting a lot of earache from the son. Okay, good. Okay, good. Margaret hears me now. Susan says Charles hates confrontation. Okay, Christine says good now. It's okay now. Anne says she had to go out and in of the chat. Only Me switched accounts. What's new says first time in this chat but having terrible connection. Hopefully it's better, you guys. Oh, happy birthday, Zephyr. Happy birthday. James says, could it be Charles was hoping to open Harry's eyes as to how Meghan was not a good fit? That could be a good motivation. It could be. Okay, so pressure from Harry via Megsy. I think so too. So I think the consensus basically is that Meghan was pulling the strings, but not letting it known she was the one pulling the strings. I'm going to go to the next question, really think. Okay, so I'm going to read you all that one line again where it says that at every event, Meghan behaved and dressed impeccably. So she was going completely out of character for who Meghan is. So what do you all think about Meghan's behavior and appearance at this first Christmas? Let me see. Happy birthday, Zephyr. Okay, so it looks like it's good. Okay, good, Squeegee. Mean Eileen says he knew Prince Gary was unhappy, so they did what they could to make him happy. Casey has a ton of guilt, and at the end of the day, Prince Gary is his son. Yeah. Happy birthday! I would sing for you, but I don't want to ruin your birthday, Zephyr. Oh, look how cute everybody is. Everyone is saying happy birthday. Susan says pushy as always, and I think that's kind of part of it. Disgusting as always. Yeah, I know. Megan's hat was the worst. Like, how? I would hope if I had a significant other and they saw me walk out with that hat, they'd be like, honey, you know I love you, but that hat's not working. Oh my gosh. She wanted the wedding ring on her finger. Yes, she did. She had the engagement ring by then. Pamela says, I think every narc can hold their breath for a while when they really try. And this is it. So when I was married to a narcissist for about a decade. And then when I got divorced, I joined a divorce group. And in this divorce group, the leader would always say, for future relationships, to always let all 4 seasons go by before getting into a major commitment. And what that means basically is look at how they behave at every single holiday. I think like the mask, in my experience, begins slipping by like month 3. Like there's only so long they can hide who they are, in my opinion. Beige. Margaret says, dress fine. Her behavior was off at times. Okay. Yep, always about getting attention. Lisa says she had to make a good impression, but it's not her real self and wouldn't and couldn't keep it up. Her intention was always to disrupt, not to integrate. And that's actually a couple of paragraphs right before the paragraph I read you. It tells you exactly that. Oh my gosh, Zephyr. Oh my gosh. MM thought everything was so boring when she was social with the royals. She went around taking pics with her mobile. This was yeah, she did. She did. Oh, Susan, the wedding? Oh, Pamela says your grandfather said every season twice. Yeah, that's really safe because you could get to, the first Christmas and it hasn't even been 3 months yet. Yep, Christine says it's a good idea. The look on Queen Elizabeth's face says it all. Margaret says 4 lifetimes. Yeah, give a narc enough time and they'll slip. Agreed, just a Jen. Okay, great. I'm going to go. So I have one last question for you all about this topic. And I think this one's deep and I did some research about it. So the book, let me read you the section again. It tells you she was invited to Sandringham, but she was also invited to the Christmas lunch for Buckingham Palace's staff. So keep in mind, now this is December 2017. They've been engaged for about a month. I believe that the incident with, and I'm sorry if I pronounce her name wrong or if I get her name wrong, with Melissa Tubati had already happened. So what happened with Melissa Tubati, let me see if I have, you know what? That's in the book too. Let me read you that paragraph. Okay, stories surface. So this is now before the Christmas celebrations. Stories surfaced that Meghan's orders to Melissa Tubati, her PA, her personal assistant, to buy special red blankets for a Sandringham shooting party had ended in screams. Tubati complained Meghan had failed to buy the right shade of blankets. So already her behavior was bad and the staff was seeing it. So based on that information, how do you think Meghan's inclusion and, making this exception for Meghan, how would it impact the royal staff? What do you all think? Zephyr says, I have never seen Queen Elizabeth lose it in her facial expression. Yep. Silvermoon says, TRG just dropped a great cartoon series tonight about how everything happened. Oh, I'll have to watch it. Guess what I'm watching tonight, guys? Lisa says there's rumors she got thrown out of the palace and the country for taking pictures. Yes, so this was, I've heard this too. So this was in early 2020. She was having a meeting at a theater or something and she was escorted out. I want to do, so I was doing some research into that where she was escorted out, and the clothes she was wearing when she was photographed being escorted out, she merched, you guys. Like, I found an advertisement showing. Oh my goodness, everything, it all comes down to the bottom line. Mean Eileen says the queen saw right through her. Zephyr says the poor staff. Yep. Susan says, remember, they weren't seeing a lot while she lived in Toronto. Once she moved in with her, he may have wanted to cancel. She screamed at Catherine during one of their wild parties. Oh, I didn't know that. Yes, and she was already rude to the staff. Pamela says, I think the staff probably had MM's number even before the family. I think so too. Aussie says, 100 questions with lie detector before even asking them out, in my opinion. After being divorced for 16 years, you learn. Yeah. Margaret says, Zephyr, did you see Her Majesty the Queen's shudder along with that look? Oh, thank you, Poncho. It's my 18th, you guys. And I scheduled 19th for noon tomorrow if any of you are free. Her late Majesty the Queen knew everything from the intelligence agencies. Hi, Kelly. Welcome. Yes, Zephyr, I've heard that too, that she was taking pictures of Charlotte's room. Oh my gosh, she's so awful. Allegedly. Pamela says the staff absolutely saw through her before the family, but they couldn't say anything. But tongues were wagging in the kitchen. Yep. Megan the Mercher Poncho says, Sexy B says, I think everyone saw right through her. I know, I wish too, Sandy, that they would do another feature on them on South Park. Lisa says the impact must have been terrible, as it's been documented right from the beginning. Many senior royals called her out, including the Queen, multiple times. Silver Moon says, wasn't there missing jewelry also? I've heard that, but allegedly. I haven't gone searching for that information. Mean Eileen says royal staff was probably dreading it and wondering exactly. So Mean Eileen, this is kind of where I'm going with it. A couple of years ago, I worked for a company and there was a woman who was a bully to everybody, okay? And she was one of my colleagues and everybody knew she was a bully. I worked really, really hard. I was working long hours. I was super dedicated. And it just felt like, when they keep making excuses for someone's behavior and you're putting so much of your life and so much of your energy into your work, it makes you feel like you're not valued, right? Like that, if I was the royal staff, that's how I would feel. Like, how are they letting this person treat people so terribly? Zephyr says, I think Philip and Anne had her number. Sandra says, I heard she was kicked out and Edward and Sophie escorted her to the airport. Yes, and there's pictures of her being escorted out. She's wearing navy blue, I remember. And I believe I found a magazine article where that stuff was being merged. Of course, they weren't talking about her being escorted out. It just looked like she was walking outside. But yeah, that's what they said. Pamela agrees. Anne saw right through her. When she was escorted to the meeting with the Queen. So crazy. Rumor has it the ring was taken at that point to replace it with a dupe. Oh, I had no idea about that. Allegedly. Sandy says, I have still pics of MM serving a client in a hotel room. Okay. Allegedly. I think I know what you mean. I think that's an innuendo, but I'm not sure. Hi, St. Hudson. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Oh, around the Clooney's room also? I didn't know that. I didn't know that, Lisa. Kelly says, Sandra Smith, I believe she was kicked out too. Yeah, that's why Harry asks for an apology. No heart either, Aussie woman says. Oh, they circulated on X 3 years ago. Oh my gosh, thank you so much, Mean Eileen. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Pamela says her acting was apparently good enough for stupid Harry. I know. I know. Princess Anne does not play. St. Hudson says, yep. Oh, the Celt. And actually, I think that's where I heard most of this from, the Celt. Yeah, she's great.